Hey, good day, everybody. This is Dennis Wilborn, the active trend trader. Thank you for joining us for this weekend session of the How to Make Money Trading Stocks weekly live stream that we do every Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning Pacific time. We do two things. Basically, we check out the indexes are doing, what they could be shaping up for next week. And also, when available, we will highlight a couple of stocks, maybe up to 3 stocks that may have a potential of moving next week. And so, with no further ado, let's get into this week's session. Here it comes. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wilborn. I want to welcome you to the How to Make Money Trading Stocks weekly live stream webinar that we do every Friday, typically 2 hours before the market closes, where we just basically go over and do a real high-level look at the indexes. Dr. Steve Ferrar joins us to provide a stock or a couple of stocks that he is looking at trading going into the week. Steve's with us today. Hi, Steve. Glad you made it.
Likewise.
Won't you be glad when we can get back and start meeting in public person here in Honolulu for some of the investor business daily meetings that we do?
That's probably a year away. I mean, things are going, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Or longer. Who knows? Yeah. Who knows? Yeah, yep. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into today's session. I do have it being recorded. Yes. And so we're going to do slightly different today. I'm going to just basically highlight and say, okay, here's where we're at. I'm really pleased with where the active trend trading system has gotten ourselves with both the top 5 autopilot tradings, strategies 1 and strategy 2. We're beating the S&P by 47%. All the indexes are now in the green. Excuse me. All the indexes are now in the green for the year and from last year's high. And so let's just jump in. That's what. Let's just jump in and start looking at some charts. We got to find it. So we're looking at a daily and a weekly of the S&P. What was quite interesting is we pushed up, hit this higher level on the spiders. Now, if you take a Fibonacci, and I've drawn a Fibonacci, and they're looking for where we might find some pullback, but it basically is just sticking really close to. I'm going to get rid of that one right there. We got up to about the 1272 extension, and then it weakened out, and that was Monday's candlestick. So let's just throw another fib on there. And if you are joining us on YouTube, Michelle is not with us today. Moderate over there. She is visiting her. And look at that. We came right up just slightly above the 1272. That normally is an extension point where, price actions, if you're in an uptrend, where you may start running into some resistance, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. This big red candle here is not a bullish sign. That is basically saying, yeah, we're excited, we jumped up here. It's telling, what's it telling us? And that's one of the things that you should always know or look for if you're trading and you know about candlesticks. When something opens high and closes low, and the range is really, really wide, what that's telling us is basically sellers came in almost immediately and started ripping this to the downside. Now, it makes sense, kind of, that it just could not, stay up here. Now, what does that mean going forward? We did get a pullback the following day. Where did it go? Look to your left, right down to a level of past where breakout area, which worked as a support level. So what I'm looking at right now, big red candle. So I'm looking at the midsection of that big candle. Isn't it interesting that midsection of that big red candle is just about at this support resistance zone? And so any type of a move back up into that may give us a trigger to the downside. Right now, I do not have an absolute trigger but the momentum is turning over on a daily chart. What's it doing on a weekly chart? Basically, negative divergence, negative divergence. Now, how much of this is the result of we still have ongoing disputes with regarding the election, and so that there's still a lot of uncertainty out there? I don't know. I think that once things are settled one way or the other, and the smoke clears, there will probably be a continued rally to the upside. At the same time, we may have some really good trades, both bearish trades to the downside, but I'll keep them really close to the best, if you will, and take my profits really quickly on those and keep my stops really tight on those. I was sharing with Steve earlier before everybody got on, is we're getting set up really nicely to go either direction, and we have some stocks that are, pulling back into long-term support resistance, and it's a long drop. The revision to the mean is fairly significant, and it makes it where, yeah, you can get in and do some good trading to the downside. Excuse me. So that's what I'm looking at with the S&P. Everything is above the moving averages, and so it's in tune to the upside. We're just waiting for a pullback into this area here. I would look at, again, if I get some more reversal signals towards the midsection of this candle here, I would look to go to the downside. Hold on just a second. Sorry about that. Let me refresh my throat with a little bit of coffee. Yeah, Barry, we'll take a look at that. I am looking for a, so that's what I got going with the S&P. As I've said in the past, I prefer trading either the NASDAQ Qs, as represented by the Qs. Get rid of a lot of my arrows there. And what is this telling us? What is this? It's not really it's kind of a pattern, but we had a similar. What is the difference? And that's what I want to highlight. The difference between what the S&P did and what the NASDAQ there, or represented by the Qs, did. Remember, S&P jumped above this past high from last year. The Qs did not. Jumped up into the resistance zone, but then fell. This is Monday's candlestick. It provided us a bearish engulfing. Now we've had a little bit of a retracement back up into the middle third of this, and now we're going flat. So I'll be watching this for a potential trade to the downside. But where does, how far to the downside? Probably down to this little, purple dotted line. That's where it's basically found support before. That's where I'll look at it finding support again to bounce back up to the upside. If in times like this, you have to really love the movement, because you're getting a really nice significant move of about $30 here, from 264 up to over 294, about $30 there. And we've got a well-defined level of resistance and a well-defined level of support. Our job is to be patient enough for price action to get down to or up to those levels, then, and have your decision already made that this is what I'm going to do when price actions get to that level. Premium members, you saw what we did with the QQQ on Wednesday evening, where we were talking about how to trigger ourselves in and out. And so I hope you found that training very valuable. That's triggering in off the intraday charts. And so that's what I'm looking at with the Qs. Now, if we fail and it drops below these levels here, about the 260, 259 level, then it opens us up to a potential fall all the way back down, to the 40-period moving average, which equates approximately to the 200-day moving average, or even down to this past breakout level there. I'm very favorable, Steve, to get us at least an 8 to 10% pullback. I think that would do a lot of thing of clearing the air in the market and get us set up for some nice moves to the upside. And then last but not least, IWM, there we go. And again, it's kind of interesting to watch how each one of these indexes, you know, this is the small cap index. Look what it did, okay? Yeah, it rockets up here, did a same type of similar sell-off as the S&P, but the price action over the last 4 days has more or less just been sideways. That's really good. We've got a definable level right here at about 168. We drop 168, we're probably going to drop to the bottom of the zone here or deeper. What would let's see what a 10% retracement would look like on the IWM, on the Russell. Go here, grab that. Let's go down. And there you go. There's a 10% retracement. It's down to in between the 20-day and the 50-day. Not unreasonable, but it would give us like I said, I think it would give us a really nice setup for moving forward. A little bit of, you know, just be aware, we've got some negative divergence typically, but we have not crossed the TSI, the momentum TSI has not crossed over to the downside. We are getting a little bit of a drop below the positive 20, the 80 zone on the market forecast, which oftentimes is indicative of we're going to get a further drop. So that's where I'm sitting at. I'm still, you know, I'm looking at basically trading individual stocks because right now I do not have a trigger on my ETF, on my indexes, and I'm also trading some individual sector ETFs through our Magnificent 7 ETF system that we utilize. So that's what I've got, Steve, that I'm looking at. Now, you suggested this stock earlier this morning.
And it's gotten away. It's actually pretty strong today. But I did have an entry above yesterday's high.
Okay, hold on a second. There we go.
Post.
So did you actually? Okay,
yeah,
there we go.
I'm into this trade above yesterday's high.
Okay, I like it. Now
it's a little late to enter now, though. I think I would maybe look for a pullback or price action near the 8 EMA tomorrow, Monday.
So this is Host Hotels and Resorts. That's an interesting pick considering.
Yeah, but let me tell you how I came up with it.
Okay.
I typically look at IBD 50 stocks, but
right.
This one I also have a website that I've been at that looks at unusual activity. Yeah. And it was unusually high call buying for December. Quite a bit out of the money. 17 and a half calls were being picked up. So I thought I'd just play this as a lark, you know, as a kind of a lottery ticket, buying a low price option and see if it not that far out of the money, but near the money.
Okay, I got you. So so this is a hotel and resort stock?
Yep.
Do they have any brand name hotels that we know about?
I haven't had a chance to really research it carefully, so I don't know. I trade mainly the chart and not the company. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's cool. Let me take a peek over here. I'll do a quick analyze. Okay, it's based out of Santa Clara, California. Where'd it go? Come on. It is out of Santa Clara as a self-managed, it's like a REIT. Oh, that's interesting. So it doesn't. 96 primarily luxury and upscale hotels containing approximately 53,000 rooms and it's all across the world. And so the company operates through hotel ownership segment. That's interesting. So it's like a REIT.
Yeah. But what piqued my interest was very high, unusual call buying in the blue. Yeah. So I'm betting that somebody knows something.
Somebody knows something.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's excellent.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit of a speculative trade for you.
Correct.
How long do you let it cook off? In other words,
well, if I lose 50% of my option position, I'm out.
Okay. At
a double, I will start to roll it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so if you got into an option position,
correct,
on this particular trade,
correct,
and how far out did you go?
I went right at the money. I went to 15s, slightly out of the money.
Okay. Well, what? How many? What was your strike month?
Oh, December.
Okay, so you're just going to give it through December. Okay, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah,
I like it. So let's see. So you went out of the money. I'm going to go take a peek here. Yeah. I'm going to go take a peek. So that out of the money. Well, yeah, they got a big that 11,000 contracts of open interest.
Yeah. And that's not even reflected in today's trade.
And so you picked this up for 30 cents or 25.
I thought it was I got the 14s. I'm sorry, I thought I got in the 15s. The 14s.
Okay.
And I paid 60 cents.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so that is now in all openness, we trade options differently. So again, but I do also occasionally do speculative option trades. Sure. And this is one of those where, hey, if it makes sense, go for it. Mm-hmm. And so because if Steve gets all the way back up to just today, the high of 4 days ago, he's going to be doing, he will be able to close at least part of that position and probably do pretty darn well with it. So well done, young man.
Thank you.
Hey, here's a
it's
what's
purely
that?
Speculative, and it's not the way I typically trade. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Variety is really, really a good thing. And so, hey, here's a stock that we've been working on for the last several weeks, and it's really starting to turn around now and bust up to the upside. We're getting a breakout above this consolidation pattern. So I'm looking for this to continue up. Be aware though. It's probably too late to get in unless you go back and you retest these breakout areas. We got one breakout area right there at about $32. But we've been basically nursing a trade on ZTO all the way back since we picked it up at 29.80-ish. And we've been, taking profit on a little bit, adding a little bit, taking profit on a little bit, adding a little bit. And so we're up nicely on this. Another stock that I will highlight just really quick. It has
also notice, Dennis, its earnings is very close. Earnings on the 18th.
Yeah, on the 18th. And so with that one, I will probably basically, since I am up very nicely on that stock, what I'll do is I'll cut back to, just a few hundred shares. And because my gauge is if I'm up 10% or 15%, I will reduce my exposure, but I will have some shares still ride through earnings. So here's an interesting stock, MU. It is on it's on a nice little channel uptrend. However, it is getting to the upside up the uptrend. It also has earnings coming up first part of January, I want to say. Yeah, first part of January. And so if it continues, here's what you look for. You're looking for continuations of patterns. Up, down, and then up again. And it's hitting its head on this dynamic resistance by the upper channel line. And if it does something similar, we would expect to pull back towards this area. And so what you can do is you can throw on a couple of option contracts, either buy a put debit spread or do a call credit spread to basically, or just buy some puts and watch it ride to the downside. It's got very liquid, and so that's a good thing also. So I know you may not be interested in options, but there's a couple. You can also, if you know how to short, you can short it here. Or you can just say, you know what? I don't want to do either of that. I'll wait for it to jump down here, because when it gets back to the lower zone, what kind of a move does it have back up to the upside? That's a pretty nice little move, about 15%. And if you multiply that times 15%, 15%, 15%, that's 3 15% in a way. And when you can use that as a compounding factor, it's really awesome. So there's a couple just to keep your, we got you 3 stocks to take a look at. And thanks for what you brought in, Steve. Let me close this out and we'll call it a day. Oh, time out. I have to look at the one Barry wanted me to look at really quick. Let's take a look just real quick at XLE. Now, this is the energy ETF. It incorporates so excuse me. So Barry, yeah, I mean it looks like it's getting some attention. We are still in a longer term downtrend. I would just grab this, do a go up there and grab that high, go to that high there, and just bring it on down. So as long as that, we're approaching, as you can see, that downtrending line. This is a strong move to the upside, so it may very well be that somebody is figuring something out. Perhaps, the market may be, think about this. The market may be looking forward to the anticipation that regardless of what the news is saying, that the coronavirus will be under control going into 2021, more significantly in control, and therefore we would expect commerce to pick up after that. So yeah, it's almost breaking that. But we do, Barry, I'd be looking at on the daily chart, we have everything starting to move up in the upside. Watch for pullbacks into the moving averages to trigger into a trade.
Or we could fail at that downtrend line.
Yes, we could.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go ahead and so let's go ahead and close out today's session. I want to thank everybody for showing up. So our objective remains the same, basically, is to provide traders with timely, actionable intel that helps them clarify, simplify, and their trading decisions so they can multiply their profits, minimize their risk. And my overall view of the market is, I would like to see a strong or a significant pullback of 8 to 10%. It would provide some great setups. There's a lot of, and I'll just call them what ifs going on out there, the what ifs. And sometimes the market doesn't like the what ifs. And so our question for today is, would you want to have some training on how to trade options for weekly, monthly income? If the answer to that is yes, please leave that note in the, just say yes or no in the chat table or the chat box. And if you're joining us on YouTube, please just leave the note there in the comment section. And if you are joining us on YouTube, remember to subscribe, hit the bell so you'll be notified of all the updates and new videos that we do put up. And if you're looking for just a simple way to get into the market where you'll get 5 great stocks every week, check out our Power Rank Elite Top 5. And this is the Top 5 auto trading system. So engage. Hey everybody, this is Dennis Wilborn, active trend trader. One of the things I promote all the time is learn how to journal. It'll make you a more consistent trader. One of the things I'm additionally proud of is my youngest son, Brandon, who developed these 2 journals, a mini journal and a full-size journal that'll enable you to basically journal all your trades, follow the active trend trading rules, and it is a top seller on Amazon. So I put the links down in the description that'll basically show you how to take advantage of these 2 journals. Either one of them, they are fantastic. Aloha. And last but not least, remember, aloha, trade well, keep sharpening the saw, and God bless everybody. Steve, thank you so much for your stock pick. I always love doing these Friday webinars with you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next week. Aloha. God bless everybody.